Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. I'm Max Caranzano. I'm part of the EMEA Central team in the contact center team, and I'm spending a lot of time working with Eric, with Bucher+Suter, on let me say drawing the different scenario with artificial intelligence added into contact centers to deliver really business value. So I've been in Cisco for 24 years, I guess. I don't remember precisely. I need to check. And I've been always playing across technology and sales. And this will be also reflected in today's presentation because I will try to, I mean, share with you what we have been doing together with Bucher+Suter and Eric in the last month to deliver business value with new technologies, with new architectures, with new solutions for contact centers. So that's really the objective of this session. I will briefly touch high level the business advantages as well as the architectural approach that we have at Cisco with some specific notes highlights on the go-to-market, which is very much important, and I will explain you why. And then we decided together with Eric to run a demonstration, which is just one of the many we have set up. Live demonstration, real-time one, but it's an interesting one because it's touching, showing, addressing several angles of this AI integration into a contact center, and it has been specifically developed with Bucher+Suter to show the combination of Salesforce, Google AI, and Cisco Contact Center enterprise platforms. So that's really the agenda for today. So let me quickly move forward. Now, we perfectly know that, the way contact center have been run for years, etc., is quite efficient, but definitely there are some pain points or areas of improvements that the technology today can help to address. One of the main, let me say, new financial metrics for the most of the customers is the most of our client is their customer experience, is their customer satisfaction, and being the contact center, the IT tool to stay in touch with the customer, especially when the customers, for example, are looking for services for support. Delivering a good customer experience in the contact center is a way to really improve the customer experience for a certain brand. So this is really changing the contact center from being an IT solution into becoming a strategic business asset for the companies. Within the contact center, beside the technology, etc., operating a contact center is not so simple, especially a large contact center. Normally there is an high agent churn, so the agents are changing very quickly, and of course if you hire new agents you have to train the new agents, so there are costs associated to that. So definitely if technology can, as a combination of AI and contact center, really can do, help to address also this pain point, that would be a big benefit for the companies running contact centers. For sure, a lot of improvements are possible in terms of processes automation. So there are many repetitive processes or simple processes easily to automate, which are today still up to in-person agents, consuming expensive, powerful, tricky resources like the agents, the real agents, while the technology can easily take over them and, let's say, spare time for the difficult questions, for the difficult customers, where the agent, the in-person agent, can really bring the value. Well, finally, but I think it's very often ranking at the top of the priorities of the customer is the need to definitely improve the productivity of a contact center, lowering the time to reach the return from the investment, lowering the cost, saving money, etc. So a lot of these points could be targeted with the insertion of artificial intelligence solutions into the contact center. And let's see together where and how we can do that with Bucher+Suter. So the first thing I would like to still highlight is the fact that the contact center, is a potential source of big savings. I had to write down the math, and to be honest, I did that after one of the latest in-person meetings I had the opportunity to have in Frankfurt, Bucher+Suter offices. After a discussion with the customer, I decided that I had to write down some numbers just to realize how big the savings could be. So this is a very simple exercise of the many ROI you could have seen or you could run on your specific use cases. I mean, uh, if we just target 10% optimization of the contact center operations, and by optimization, we may mean different things. We may mean 10% savings in terms of incoming calls to agents. So we can say 10% reduction on the average length of the call. So we can mean a plenty of these kind of things. Well, 10%, which means also not boiling the ocean, which is definitely not necessary when we talk about AI in a contact center. Well, if you consider Western European countries and the cost of an agent, let's say it's $1,000 per month. It's much more than that in Western European economies. But let's make it simple: $1,000, which is conservative for the use case. Make your math. But along 5 years, when we roll the advantage of artificial intelligence, means several $1 million of savings. So it could be single digit for a contact center below 1,000 agents. As soon as you cross 1,000 agents, we are already talking about double digits, $1 million. So I would say from this point of view, with this approach, AI addition to a contact center is a self-funding technology. So the cost savings can more than cover the cost needed to really enhance the architecture of existing contact centers. So say that everything becomes really specific, custom to match precisely the use case we are talking about. But generally speaking, I think the ROI is looking very good. Now, let's have a look at the architecture and as well as a little bit the evolution of a contact center architecture these days. So the first point, which has been touched already by our colleagues and friends of eGain, but you have certainly heard many times, is the fact that the vast majority of the new contact center, are multi-channel, omni-channel contact center. This is because the customer behavior is changing. Very often the customer do prefer, at least at first, to chat with one of the many tools you can have in the social, you can have on your smartphone, etc. Chat the service, and then only if necessary they would like to escalate to an agent with audio calls. So chat is becoming the most preferred digital media to reach a contact center, at least at first. So that's something that we need to take into account. It's no longer just audio, but it's chat, and it's a multitude of different chat tools. And this means that the contact center architecture has to be flexible and ready to do that. Then even on the IT side of the contact center, the one which is supplied by Cisco Solutions, we do have a lot of evolutions. For example, the move to cloud is something that everybody is considering. The vast majority of the contact centers today are on-premise, but every customer is considering cloud as a possible, potential, partial migration in the future. So what we do has to take that into account, because the solution that we offer today should be still good if and when the infrastructure will move to cloud. And then you have the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence technology is something which is mature enough to deliver value, but in terms of the market of artificial intelligence, it's not mature yet, which means that there are certainly a bunch of vendors who are today playing a key role. But for sure, in the next years, we will see many more vendors popping up. We will see consolidations. We will see verticalization of this market because it's in its infancy, not the artificial intelligence itself, but the technology which is today powering artificial intelligence, which is neural network, natural language understanding with with new algorithms, with new solutions. Now, how we pull everything together to deliver the solution that you, the customer, is looking for. Where we in Cisco, we believe that the approach has to be open. So we have to do that by having all these different pieces of the architecture talking through open APIs. And therefore, in order to make it works properly, we need something in between, which could call conversational engine, orchestrational engine, up to you to decide how you want to call this functional block, which is able to orchestrate the incoming conversation from the client side and deliver that and route it to the appropriate building block of this architecture to deliver the service in a very flexible way. So that's really the overall architecture. So this conversational engine could be an existing product, could be ECE from eGain, could be the CVP, the Cisco Voice Portal. Most likely it will be based on one of these products with some customization around. So that's a very key important point. I suspect, I can even bet my hand on fire, that the vast majority of large companies, large enterprises, will need a custom artificial intelligence integration in their contact center. So I don't think there will be a ready off the shelf solution which will precisely match all your specific needs and criteria. So there will be always the need of some customization, which is very much important because the product, the solution should be customizable, but the partner you are choosing should be able to deliver that customization. And that's why I believe Bucher+Suter is one of the best we have definitely in our portfolio. Last point, as I said, the contact center infrastructure, as well as, for example, the CRM infrastructure, therefore the sales, the agent desktop, as well as the database with all the customer data, could be in cloud. So it doesn't have to be on premise anymore. Definitely, the artificial intelligence service could be a cloud service. It doesn't have to be an on-premise service, but you may want to consider that also this conversational engine is something that you can have in cloud, or could be an hybrid solution with some pieces on premises and some pieces in cloud. So as you can see, I mean, the picture is becoming very flexible, very versatile, but this means that there will be a need to customize that, and there will be, of course, a need to choose vendors with an open approach, with open APIs. Those are the critical, really, things to consider for a new, modern, AI-enabled contact center architecture. From a partner point of view, the traditional system integration skills that most of the Cisco contact center partners have, because this is the way we have always at Cisco rewarded our partners based on their ability to deliver system integration, is no longer good enough. You need that, absolutely. But when you talk about conversational engine, you talk about software integration, which is a different job. When you talk about connector to CRMs like those delivered by Bucher+Suter, you are not talking about system integration, you're talking about software integration. And when you talk about artificial intelligence, for example, your ability to create a conversational IVR, a virtual agent, a voice or chat, all these kind of things, it's even not just a software integration. It becomes really a specialist job where you need to have an expertise in that specific area of the business. So the ideal partner able to deliver a modern contact center powered by AI should have all these skill sets. Therefore, it's something that personally, if I put myself in the shoes of a customer, I would consider when I will cherry pick the partner to deliver the solution I need. And that's why I'm here with Bucher+Suter, because definitely they are one of the partners that historically are investing in the development of those skills. Okay, so let's move forward and let's have a look to where AI could be inserted in a contact center to achieve this famous 10%. Of course, we don't want to stop there. Let's say 10% is the first objective. We may want to achieve 58% of optimization of a contact center, but let's say 10%. Well, first of all, it could be applied across channels. So it could be any of the digital media that your contact center is delivering the service through. So it could be a chat, could be voice call, could be an email, could be social, etc. So it's omni-channel artificial intelligence delivery. Then there are different areas of the contact center process flow of the information, operations that could benefit from artificial intelligence. The first entry point is where normally, if you have an incoming voice call, you hit the IVR, for example. And artificial intelligence applied to the IVR can deliver incredible benefits. We will see what we mean by a conversational IVR at Cisco, and how really combining an existing IVR with the AI could deliver an enhanced IVR service, which we call conversational IVR, able to deliver self-service solutions, for example, which are exactly what the customer are looking for, a self-service solution. Then, of course, you can use the AI also to deflect calls. So not necessarily take the call to a real agent, a human agent, but to a bot, fundamentally a voice bot, which could replace the person that normally is taking those calls. So those are some examples. Of course, this way, I mean, the idea is to deflect calls to bot means saving agents time. So you can deliver more calls with the same number of agents or the same number of calls with the less agents. That's a business decision which is up to the customer. But you can also, for example, reduce the amount of time needed to handle a call, reduce the queuing time spent by the customer waiting for his request to be addressed. So I think the customer experience can definitely benefit from that as well. It's not just a matter of reducing cost and improving the efficiency. You can apply artificial intelligence to the routing criteria of a call. So, for example, after the call has gone through a conversational IVR, we can at Cisco uh, take into consideration all the learnings that the AI engine embedded in the IVR had from that call to decide to change the routing or to route in a kind of intelligent way the call. For example, I mean, a very simple example. The customer who is calling is upset. His sentiment is very low. Therefore, he's very nervous. But at the same time, we do recognize they are an important customer. We decide to shortcut this call and escalate it to a very experienced agent. So we cherry pick the best agent with precision queuing, with the best skills to serve this customer, because we do recognize it's a kind of emergency because the sentiment is very bad, and therefore there is a risk to compromise the customer relationship. This is something that could be done spot on demand based on the emotion captured, for example, by artificial intelligence during the AVR phase or during the conversation with the bot. That's just a very simple example. We can assist an agent in answering in a better, quicker way to the questions from the customer. So artificial intelligence can listen to the conversation between an agent and a customer, and can autonomously look into a knowledge base for the possible answers, for the useful material, documents, web pages, etc., that the agent could consult or even share with the client to better and quickly answer the incoming calls. That's very good. Better training for the agents, quicker answers, better answers for the clients. So definitely great value without the need of the agent to browse on Google or look for the information in a knowledge base. AI will proactively do that and make this available to the agent during the call without the agent having to do anything. Finally, the last piece is the huge amount of data produced by a contact center, which is well beyond the power of a human brain to analyze those. Artificial intelligence analytics can really help to pull out of this huge amount of contact center data the right correlation, the right business information to further improve the optimization of these processes. So this is a kind of closing the loop. You can keep improving your bot, your IVR, your routing, your assistance by doing analysis of the big data, of the big reports of a contact center using artificial intelligence. So as you can see, there are plenty of areas where you can insert artificial intelligence into a contact center. Let me visualize very quickly what I just said, just to, hopefully for a better understanding. So you can have an incoming audio call, and this incoming audio call could be deflected to a virtual agent. So it could be a voice bot delivered with Google, for example. This is what we call Cisco Virtual Agent in our terminology. You can have an incoming call still going to a real agent, but this agent could be assisted by artificial intelligence, which is proactively suggesting possible answers to the agent, making his job easier, quicker, and better. So this is what we call in Cisco Agent Answer Solutions. Then you can have something more interesting. So when the call is coming through, normally is hitting an IVR first, which is a touch tone IVR, even a speech IVR, but it's a very traditional IVR based on a static tree, which is very unflexible. You will never have all the options you need, and as many options you put, as more boring, frustrating this IVR will become for the customer. So each of us is fully aware of the frustrating experience of going through a traditional IVR solution. If you inject artificial intelligence at the IVR stage, you get what we call in Cisco a conversational IVR. And simply the idea is that you speak to the IVR. And because the IVR is powered by artificial intelligence, it will understand what you are looking for, the action you want, the intent you have. So ideally, in an ideal tree of menu options, a sub-menu, and many more options, it's like you will be able to jump forward, shortcut really to the last leaf of this tree of options, simply because the natural language understanding of the IVR, we simply understand what you need to do. So the transversal time of an IVR will be very quick. You can have as many options as you want because the powerful natural language understanding solutions embedded, for example, in Google AI can really understand the natural language, so virtually any option. So there are plenty of advantages of deploying a conversational IVR. You can easily deploy self-service solutions, increase the customer satisfaction, and save, of course, money. And once the call has gone through the IVR and, for example, is taken by an agent, you can still apply agent answer to assist the agent. So as you can see, all these artificial intelligence brick could be combined by the right partner like Bucher+Suter really to build the precise solution matching your use case. So that's really the idea. And that's what I mean when I say it's not an off-the-shelf solution. It's a custom solution. It's a project in the vast majority of the cases. Of course, you are still free after the conversational IVR to deliver the call to a virtual agent, so to a voice bot. And the same applies precisely to chat, for example, to social media, to text kind of conversations, where you can still deliver the same kind of AI services and advantages to the call. You can even add more. For example, you can easily deliver translational services from one language to the other to text, which is something we can do to voice as well, but with text is 100% mature. With voice, of course, it's a little bit more challenging, so we need to talk precisely about what you want to do. And here we are to the, one example, perfectly on time. We Italians are very well known to be always perfectly on time. So this is the demo that we have prepared with Bucher+Suter, which is touching a little bit everything we talked so far about. In this demonstration, we are using a contact center enterprise platform, which is our solution for large contact centers, regardless it's deployed in cloud, at partner site, or on premises. So we use different names for fundamentally the same software architecture. It's just where the software is running, which is making the difference in terms of consumption model. If it's running in a Cisco data center, it's called WebEx Contact Center Enterprise. If it's running in Bucher+Suter Contact Center data center, it's called HCS. If it's running on premises, it's called either package CCE or UCCE. But that's fundamentally the same. What you see now applies to all these solutions. Now, in this case, we have an incoming audio call. The incoming audio call is hitting the Cisco Contact Center Enterprise solution, where we have, in the last release 12.5, announced a couple of components. One is the virtual voice browser. And now the virtual voice browser is capable to natively talk to Google AI architecture. So we are able to speak a common protocol. So in this case, we will route this call to Google. And at this point, we will run a special conversational IVR flavor, which is configured on Dialogflow. And in this case, the demo will be a flight booking service. It's just a generic example. And the idea is that the conversational IVR will collect plenty of the usual information which are collected by the agent, but which could be easily collected by the conversational IVR. Your name, where you want to fly, when you want to leave, etc., saving really a lot of the agent time. So that's just one example. Saving a lot of the agent time, and therefore, improving the efficiency of the contact center, because you will be able, of course, to handle more call with the same agents, or you will be able to have less agents to handle the same traffic. Once the conversational IVR is done, Google will return to Cisco the context of the discussion. So all the information captured by AI natural language understanding. And Cisco, at this point, through Bucher+Suter connector, will render those information to the Salesforce desktop agent, which is, by the way, in cloud in this case. So from this point on, the agent takes over the Google AI. So the agent takes over the conversational IVR. But the agent already perfectly know what the customer is willing to do. So the agent has, in this case, just to check the availability of seats, tickets, and confirm with the customer the registration without asking the usual boring question: where do you want to fly to, etc. It's of course an example, but you will be able to see how we can flow the information from the client to the Cisco Contact Center to Google to Salesforce through this open API architecture I explained in the beginning of the session. Of course, this is possible with any CRM that Bucher+Suter is supporting through their connectors. So let's give it a try. Let's have a look at the live demo. So this is the agent desktop I've been configured by Bucher+Suter. the CCE we are using is in the Cisco lab in Rome. So you see here a real hybrid scenario where the contact center enterprise is on premise in my lab in Rome at Cisco facilities. And the Salesforce instance we are using is coming through cloud and is powered by Bucher+Suter. And in between, we have, of course, a Bucher+Suter Salesforce connector for Cisco CCE. And here you have the last piece. The last piece is the Dialogflow bot or conversational IVR, which I created here. And it's called Flight Booking. And it's, of course, on the Dialogflow platform. And therefore, it's available in cloud as well. So here you have, all the entities, all the intents I've created. I can, if there are questions, I can go a little bit further into the details. But here you see the interaction across the three platforms we said. So you have the incoming voice call, the Cisco Contact Center Enterprise, Dialogflow, and Bucher+Suter with Salesforce.com. So let me log in as an agent because I guess I logged out. So I log in here. Okay, let me go ready. And now I play the double role of the agent, the client, the presenter, and everything else. So let me call it. Now it's a bit noisy, but let's see.
Welcome to Flight Booking Bot. To speed up the service, I'll collect your booking requests and answer your questions before connecting to an agent. What can I do for you?
Hi, my name is Max, and I would like to fly to London from Frankfurt tomorrow at 2 p.m., and I need business class.
Many thanks. This is a summary of your travel request. I will book a flight from Massimiliano Caranzano from Frankfurt to London in business. The requested travel date is at tomorrow at 3 p.m. Do you need any extra reservations such as parking, car rental, taxi, hotel?
I need a parking.
Okay, I have added parking to your itinerary to London. Let me now connect to an agent to complete your reservation.
At this point, as we said, the conversational IVR has collected all the initial information to save agent time. So it's time to escalate the call to an agent. And as you have seen, being the agent, I've received the call escalated by the CCE in Rome after Google transferred back the call to us. And as soon as I take the call, you see that Bucher+Suter has developed a gadget on the Salesforce.com agent desktop. And in this gadget, they are rendering fundamentally the context of the dialogue which took place between Dialogflow, Google, and the client, which has been passed by Dialogflow to Cisco, and Cisco through the Bucher+Suter connector pass it over to Salesforce.com. So you see how we can handle this information and route it around. So you see here the bot summary. Of course, now it's just we are just rendering everything, even the intent that we match in Dialogflow, but it's just for you to understand that we can really pass all the information. A further customization here, for example, we can pre-populate a form, a booking form in Salesforce.com with all this information. If it's an existing customer, like in this case, because if you notice, I said that this is Max, but the system recognized my number, etc. So they look up my name, Massimiliano Caranzano. So you can pop up my customer profile. So you can do all the magic usual things that you do in a contact center, but taking the information collected by artificial intelligence and not by a real agent. So I guess you understand that the combination of all these kind of things could be really very useful and can really add a lot of value. It has to be your use case. So the use case you may identify to improve, to inject artificial intelligence together with Bucher+Suter in your environment is the starting point. The starting point is not the technology. is the business use case. Then together we decide which technology, where and how we want to insert in the contact center. The beauty of that is that limitless. I mean, there is virtually nothing that we cannot done in one way or the other, because that's really the true power of AI combined with an open, modern contact center architecture like the one we can deliver at Cisco. I would stop here. We still have a nice demo of live transcription and translation. So unless it's not needed, I would stop here and hand it over to Eric, perfectly on time at 3:40 as we agreed.